The experiment that you're proposing of having a non-religious state is exactly what we've done in Western Europe and America and the Anglophile world since the 1790s. And this is where it's got us. In a society where people are being ploughed down in Christmas markets.
But it's not failing for them. Like when I look around Europe, they're doing quite well, and I'd actually wish this country was more like that.
Poland.
But what I'm saying is...
Poland is one of the most Catholic countries in Europe.
I know.
It's one of the most Christian countries in
what
Europe.
I'm saying is...
So you're saying we need to go back to Christianity?
No, what I'm saying is...
Can you give us your insight and your thoughts on the Christmas market attacks in Germany just recently?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to comment.
So my thoughts.
The atheist who screamed Allahu Akbar and killed
Yeah,
Christians. Very atheist.
Is he caught on video screaming Allahu Akbar?
Yeah, when they arrested him, someone filmed it from the side and the armed police were pointing guns at him and he was down going, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And all the media said he's an atheist ex-Muslim, and I went...
Right, I didn't know that.
Because atheists are well known for killing Christians and screaming Allahu Akbar.
Exactly. So to be honest, that's totally new information, and that's actually just radically changed what I thought.
It is true, I was going to say as well, it is
true. Can I answer his question? Because he asked me a question.
No, I just really want to finish the other point.
No, we stopped.
No, sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
going to answer his question.
It's just that on paper,
brother,
he's an ex-Muslim atheist asylum seeker.
Yeah, I know.
That's what he claims.
So to answer your question, what my thoughts on it, and this is new information now that has literally just changed my thinking, because I was actually willing to give credence to what the media was saying, because every now and then you do get an oddball that does odd things, right? But given what I've just heard, I think now it is very obvious that this was an Islamist attack. Maybe by a Shia, possibly, because he was running from Saudi Arabia. No, because he was running from Saudi Arabia, which might imply that he was a Shia rather than a Sunni.
Saudi wanted
he was wanted for rape and trafficking
so
in Saudi.
I think what it demonstrates is that we in the West have got to revisit the question of migration. We've got to revisit the question of migration. We've got to bring in heavy filters about who we allow into the country, and anyone that we would not have allowed to come in, we must deport. And if that means deporting the entire city of Birmingham, then that's what we need to do, right? Or Bradford, like it doesn't matter how many thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of people that we have to deport. If you would not pass the heavy filter on entry, you must be made to leave the country.
Can I just follow up on that? They say that even if we had heavy filters for people of high caliber, like doctors and scientists and engineers, well, this gentleman was literally a doctor.
Yeah, but the point is, one of the filters that I would argue should be in place is that you are a Christian or someone that could live and adopt and be sympathetic to Christian values. That's a filter that we should have. Now, liberals will never give you that filter, but a Christendom and Christianity can, and that's why we need a religious state, not a liberal state.
No caliphates, Christian kingdoms,
that was my only question.
Don't want it.
Okay.
No blasphemy laws, no kill him, none of that, no. We don't want it, no.
Right, now it may be...
I want to be able to take the piss and have a laugh. It's okay.
I think that
but I appreciate that if I take the piss out of you, you won't try and stab me. And that's good.
Why would I try and stab you?
So that's a good start.
Yeah.
In your blasphemy concepts, would you ban the life of Brian by Monty Python?
Yes.
So how would you punish,
That's a great film.
genuinely, just genuine question, this is just your opinion.
Yeah.
How would you, in your ideal state, if someone started, making cartoons or whatever about Christ, songs, taking the piss, whatever, how would you deal with that?
It would depend on the scale of their blasphemy, how publicly it was known. So if somebody did a blasphemous cartoon of our Lord and then showed it to one or two friends in a public place, they'd probably just get a fine and sent on their way. If someone like the BBC that broadcast the Jerry Springer opera that would be an offence that would lead to a year or two in prison.
Okay, but so you would fine people for drawing cartoons?
Blasphemous cartoons.
Well, that's me fucked then. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing blasphemous ones, I think.
Oh, I do everyone. I target all the groups fairly,
including Muhammad.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I done a good one the other day about the inbreeding rates.
Right.
And it was basically a family with their normal family. There's a depiction of the family saying why they want to ban cousin marriage, bloody racists.
Yeah.
And I just drew out the normal family. It's quite good.
Well, I mean, the thing is.
I done the Church of England about the pedo scandal as well. I done him.
Yeah. I think the thing is that there's a serious point here. And it's maybe a point that I don't know whether you appreciate or not. And I haven't been able to ascertain through our conversation whether you appreciate or not.
Yeah.
Is that what doctrines you have gives rise to your values. So your values depend upon your doctrines, and that's why there should be a blasphemy law. Because if we have values of our culture and our heritage that you claim you want to maintain, then that means that the doctrines upon which those values rest have to be protected.
Oh, I agree. I think in law, maybe we could do something to protect cultural aspects. Like, I think Poland has a lot of emphasis now in the education system, protecting Christian values and guarding children from drag queens coming in and telling bullshit, which I think is good. But the state isn't governed by Christianity. It's separated the church and state, and they still manage to put things in law to keep their identity protected and not have their children brainwashed.
So for example, Section 28 was passed by Margaret Thatcher to stop gay propaganda being pushed in schools. Margaret Thatcher did that because she was a Christian.
Yeah.
Right?
I accept that, yeah.
My point is that the reason why that was taken away is because the culture, the prime ministers that came afterwards were Christian in name only, and they were actually liberals. Yeah. So a liberal, and the point is, if you believe in free speech like you've claimed, you can't object to people pushing gay propaganda in schools because you've just said you believe in free speech.
So one
second. The moment you say that you can't have gay propaganda pushed in schools, you've put yourself on my track because you've said that there should be limits to speech. Yeah. My point to you is, what I'm finishing, my point to you, bro, and this is how you will ever now be known as bro.
That's okay.
Is like,
I'll take it.
Right, is that my point to you, bro, is that I have a rationale behind the limits of speech that I want to create.
Yes, fascism.
Your limits on freedom of speech seem ad hoc and made up in the moment.
Yeah, I don't even believe in hate speech really, but I was going to say, like, I went to a Church of England primary school.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in year 5, so about 9 or 10, we had compulsory PSHE.
Yeah.
And I can remember my teacher in a Christian church school telling all of our class about homosexual sexual activities, how it's done.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, even as a non-religious person back then, I was thinking, should a 9-year-old be taught about sucking and bum sex?
Exactly.
And, you know, I think I understand when people might want to educate children at school to say there are people with different views and sexuality, some men who like men, some people that like both, whatever. Yeah. I think you can have that, and I don't think it's like LGBT propaganda. What I saw when I was at school, that I think is a problem. I think it's about what's actually said and done, and I think there's too much leeway being given to certain organizations to push certain things
too much. So me and you now agree that there is an aesthetic behind the way that we speak that should be policed.
I'm saying it specifically for like children of that age in school, and that's why I gave my example when I was at school. Like, I don't think a 9-year-old should be told that, regardless of what they believe.
I agree. But my point is, we've now agreed that there should be a policing of the aesthetic of discourse.
Oh yeah.
And what I'm saying is that the only way that you can maintain this idea of stopping, stopping this gratuitous sexualization of children to fit in with LGBTQ is because of Christian doctrine. the reason why even the very value of protecting children is rooted in Christianity. Jesus said, he who causes any one of these children to stumble, it is better that a millstone be tied around his neck and he be thrown into the sea. When he made those statements, Jesus elevated the value of children. In a world, where particularly in the Roman world, where they would just put children out to die on the street and be eaten by dogs, babies to be eaten by dogs, right? Now the point is, when Jesus said that statement, he gave children a dignity that they didn't have in their natural culture. And so our own elevation of children and the understanding that children should be protected is because of Jesus. So you need a religious state to justify protecting children.
I don't think you need a religion to do it. Like I said about when I was at school at that age, if my teacher has said, oh, when you get older you might come across people who are attracted to this and that, I think isn't like propaganda. That's not, because at the end of the day, when you grow up and you're in the real world, you are going to notice that stuff. But I do think, even without religion, as a collective, we should be able to work out a 9-year-old shouldn't be told those things.
Why was it?
Because it's basically like giving pornography to a child.
Why was the age of consent?
And there's laws even now about you have to be 18 plus to view this and that. And it's sort of like then when you get to school and you're at the age of 9, here's a cartoon of it, here's this, here's that. And it's sort of like the agenda does sort of contradict the law, or our laws haven't been made concrete enough to stop the extent it's gone to. I don't think you need religion to stop that. I know it would. I agree it would.
Yeah, it would.
I think any state run by Islam or Christianity would stop that without a doubt. But I don't believe that we need religion to do that.
But hold on one second. We've run the experiment that you're proposing. Right? The experiment that you're proposing of having a non-religious state, right, is exactly what we've done in Western Europe and America and the Anglophile world since the 1790s. And this is where it's got us. In a society where people are being ploughed down in Christmas markets, where we're killing millions of children through abortion, where we're subjecting drag queen education, we're doing all of these things.
Next time.
We're doing all of these
guy
things
does not engage with me because he's a coward.
Of the very experiment that you're talking about. Right?
Oh, it can.
And this is the only society, this is the only civilization in history that has tried. You
don't mind if I want to see
this? You're free, bro.
Okay, so
right?
I just wanted to check first.
Yeah, no, that's very kind of you, but no, you're free. But this is our only society that has tried to build itself on a non-religious complexion.
Yeah.
So it's
I think
failed. We've done your experiment. It failed.
I think
you need to accept that it failed. No, I haven't finished.
Okay, sorry.
Now, the point is, I'm glad you agree that a Christian state would stop the things that you're talking about. But the reason why it would is because in Christianity, freedom is not the highest value.
I can tell that.
In liberalism, freedom is the highest value. And when you make freedom the highest value...
I'm not a liberal, by
everything,
the way.
No, you
doesn't
are.
engage in bait.
You
with
are
a
liberal,
Christian,
bro.
sir.
You just don't recognise.
Notice he doesn't engage.
Why don't you... Let's define what liberalism then, because I'm saying you are a liberal and you aren't.
I'm saying the term liberal, how it's defined today, how most people would say he's a liberal, that I don't fall into that category.
Right. Do you...
I vote for reform, if you're wondering.
No, the Reform Party is a liberal party.
It's got liberal ideas in it.
It is a liberal party.
But the thing is, liberalism per se, it's always going to change, depending what's... Like, if we had a society now that was governed by religion...
Can we just focus back on this question? What's liberalism? Because here's my proposal to you. Liberalism is the idea that humanity is at the centre of human praxis. In terms of humanity is at the centre of human praxis, either embodied in a collective sense of the humanities or in an individualised humanity. Secondly, that that we as citizens of a country have a covenant with the state, right? And that we're in a connection with the state, and in a contract with the state in which we have rights and responsibilities, right? So liberalism also decides what's true and what's false based upon empiricism and rationalism. And it values the idea of the individual. Now, how many of those ideas do you agree with? How many do you disagree with?
So, sorry. What I was saying earlier about cultures forming and things like that, we typically you'd expect we go forward, become more advanced. That's not always the case. Sometimes, yes, we do go backwards. Like our society is going backwards morally. Like I feel that based on someone my age is now seeing what I was brought up with, even in a non-religious household. Those values and morals are being, chipped away from society by this underlying liberal agenda. But I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused. I'm trying to explain this in the best possible way.
Bro, I asked you a simple question.
Yeah.
How many of the ideas that I expressed do you agree with?
Yeah. So the thing you said about as a collective or individual, I kind of agree with that to a fair extent. However, as I was also saying, I understand, and I am also saying from my belief in addition, we have gone backwards morally.
Yeah, no.
I think, religion aside, I think the crime rates prove that. I think teenage pregnancy rates prove that.
Yeah.
Regardless of religion or belief, I think our society is living proof.
This is where you keep. It's not regardless of religion. It is because of the absence of Christianity. We've moved away from Christianity. We've moved away from the Christian understanding of the family. We've moved away from the Christian sense of the importance of the family. And the result of that moving away has resulted in increased single parents, increased absentee fathers, increased teenage crime, increased gang crime, knife crime.
I don't deny that. That's all true.
So it's not regardless of religion. It is because of our rejection of Christianity. And this is the point. You want to hold on to these values, but you don't want to have the beliefs that underpin the values.
Because I don't believe in Christianity. I don't believe in any religion.
Then you have no basis.
I'm not an atheist, by the way.
Right.
Even that.
You would believe in a God?
Possibly. I don't know.
So you're agnostic?
Fairly, yeah. But I'm also like an anti-theist, if that makes sense.
There is the academic sense of what an anti-theist is, but I don't know if that's you. So do you deny the existence of metaphysics as a reality other than in the mind of man?
I wouldn't know how to answer that, honestly.
Well, that's the academic definition of anti-theism.
How I view things is...
Well, sorry, can I just finish my point?
Yeah.
Because you highlighted the increasing crime because of the breakdown of the family, right? I'm pointing out to you that that you also at the beginning of this conversation said you want to hold on to our culture and heritage, right? Our culture and heritage used to value the family as the cornerstone. Let me finish. As the cornerstone of society, so that society was built on families, not on individuals. Now the point is, you can't have that sense of you build society on the family, not on individuals, if you change the doctrine.
Would you agree?
Because Christian doctrine and values is what elevates the family.
Would you agree, though, that we could protect those values if, say, like I mentioned earlier about Poland and their legal system and schools, and you said about Margaret Thatcher and the failed experiment, but it's not failing for them. Like when I look around Europe, they're doing quite well, and I'd actually wish this country was more like that. But what I'm saying is...
Poland is one of the most Catholic countries in Europe.
I know.
It's one of the most Christian countries in
what
Europe.
I'm saying is...
So you're saying we need to go back to Christianity?
No, what I'm saying is, in law, though, Christianity, Catholicism does not determine the law. They've voted and made laws themselves to protect that identity and culture. They've separated them.
Sorry,
so what I'm saying is, essentially, it's this question. It's a simple question. would you say yes or no that you can protect those values, the family values, stop LGBT propaganda and all this, while still separating church and state?
Right, so
yes or no?
I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer that question.
You can explain why, and I just want to hear your answer, then I'm going to go around.
So the answer is yes, but let me explain.
Okay.
I, as a Christian, believe in the separation of church and state. But I don't believe in the separation of state from Christianity. I don't believe in the separation of the body of Christ from the state. I believe the institutional state and the institutional church should be separate.
Okay.
But the church should be filled with Christians, and the state should be filled with Christians, and the church and the state work in symphony to create Christian laws. Now, when you look at Hungary, Poland, Slovenia, Slovakia, all of these countries that are doing well, what have they all got in common? They've got high rates of Christian belief.
Yes. Yeah,
that's why they're doing well. So you can't. So let me finish because I'm landing now. So you can't maintain the value of the family and the protection of children from LGBTQ if you separate the state from Christianity.
So
you can't do that.
What about then if you have people who are, say, someone who's really well supported, great economic policies, they get voted in as an MP, and they are sworn to protecting your Christian values, family values and all this, but they're an atheist or agnostic, they're not a Christian, but they're still taking the job and saying, I believe that, by heritage, say we're a Christian nation, and I will allow those values to be protected by law, and I'll work for that, and he gets votes based upon that, but he doesn't believe in it himself.
Right, so
is that okay for you?
Yeah, I'll give you that's a great question. And
because I would do that if I was an MP.
In a Christian state, I would be open to the idea that if a prime minister was willing to submit to the authority of the church in all metaphysical questions, that he could be prime minister as an atheist, or as a Muslim, or as a Buddhist, or as a Jew, or as an agnostic.
Because I
do believe in equality under the law.
Okay.
But I would want to have a law that said all metaphysical questions are answered by the authority of the church.
Okay.
And the secular government is bound to the metaphysical understandings of the church, though it is free to fashion whatever laws it wants within that metaphysical framework.
Okay.
And in that world, you could have a Muslim as prime minister passing Christian laws.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to know your opinion on that. That's all. Yeah. That sounds reasonable. Yeah, fine.
Right. So,
like I'm not a Christian, but if I worked in Parliament, I would protect Christian values. I would stop the education I had from being in Christian schools.
Yeah.
I would.
Good. And you are an increasing number of people that I would call people of goodwill. The Bible talks about these people called the people of goodwill.
Okay.
And they're people who, whilst themselves are not believers, they're willing to stand with the church in Christian causes. But my question to you,
not a
bro,
Christian.
My question to you, bro, is how well do you understand those Christian values that you want to maintain and
to
sustain?
I have a fairly good understanding, fairly decent.
It'd be interesting to have that conversation.
But the only thing I would disagree with you on is the blasphemy law thing. That's the only thing. In terms of goodwill, I've got another very strange question. This book you gave me, I don't have a bag.
It's your gift.
Yeah. Can you hold on to it, and when you're going to leave, I'll still be here. Give it to me, because I want to take it home and read it, but I don't have a bag and I don't want to carry it. So could you just put it in yours, and then you'll see me around? Because I do actually want to read it.
I'll just stick it there.
I love reading books.
I'll stick it there. Here's a card.
Thank you.
Yeah. Get in touch, bro. It was lovely talking to you.
Nice to speak to you.
Yeah.
Off camera,
do you want to do that
mention
now?
Something.
Let's go off camera.
Yeah.
Just briefly, I'm going to go off camera, guys. I'm going to give you these microphones.
Just over here, I just wanted to say something very important to you.
Got the microphones on me? Right. Just off camera. I'm going to go off camera in a minute with this guy.
No problem.